Okay, so I'm fresh out of the shower. I don't have any skincare on. I don't even have body lotion on, which so I feel really dry. My hair's still wet, and while it's still wet, I'm going to add a little bit of hair oil to it. I'll be using the Lonza Healing Strength. It's basically a hair treatment oil. I use this in my hair when it's still damp or even like sopping wet. So I just run it through my hair. Nothing super, you know, professional. Nothing pro level about that. Just gonna rake it through my hair. So as my hair air dries, I'm going to start with a face mask. And this is honestly like my favorite step if I'm trying to do a glow up on myself and just kind of give myself a little bit of a boost. A mask is it for me. And the one that I've been grabbing the most by far, and I'm actually on my second tube, is from Caudalie. It's their Vinergetic C plus. It's a mask. It's an instant detox mask. It tightens your pores. It removes excess oil. It's purifying. It's a clay mask basically, and it has coffee and grape in it, but also has vitamin C. And I noticed the biggest change with my skin. It's like such a quick pick-me-up. It's a 5 to 10 minute mask. I usually leave it on for 10 minutes at the most, maybe sometimes 15 if I forget. But anyway, it's such a quick step before makeup. If you're just feeling like sluggish or like your complexion is kind of dull or tired or it just needs like a glow up, which is the whole point of this video. So this is my go-to. I'm gonna pop this on, but before I do, since my skin is completely dry and it's feeling like dry as a desert, I'm just gonna dampen it really quick before I apply the mask. I like to do that. I don't like to apply any mask onto like bare bones, like dry skin. So since my sink is far away, I'm just going to spray my skin with also another Caudalie product. It's their Beauty Elixir. And it's just gonna give me hydration. So my skin's nice and damp. Now we're gonna apply the mask. I apply a really, really generous amount. I don't skimp out on face masks. And you know, one thing I noticed too, anytime, and this is for me personally, I know that I need to start taking better care of myself and my skin when I start seeing little itty bitty breakouts. Like I have a little one here, I have a little one on my chin. My skin will feel so much better. My pores will feel tighter and smaller, and I'll just feel so much more refreshed and ready to go for makeup. Okay, face mask is off. I feel so much better already. I already feel like I have like just new skin. I feel so refreshed. It's so nice to just take the time to just, you know, do a step like that. Even if it's just 5 minutes of the face mask, you know, even if it's not like the full 10 or 15 minutes or 20 minutes, whatever the mask says, it's just a nice like way to pamper yourself. So one of the things I have been really loving lately, and actually I've used it for a long time in my makeup kit professionally for like my really dry skin clients, but I recently started using this from Fenty Beauty. It's the Fenty Skin Fat Water. It's their hydrating milky toner essence. This is a great first step if your skin's feeling more dehydrated like mine is right now. Like I mentioned, I've been traveling a ton. And although, you know, I use tons of skincare and I use tons of moisturizer and serums and all those things, I never skip certain things. Like I know I said I haven't been taking as much care of myself lately. There are certain things I never compromise on and I never skip, and my skincare is one of them. However, I might lack on like drinking water, which is horrible. And I might slack on doing face masks and things like that. But my skincare, I don't. I never ever skip that, no matter how tired or lazy I'm feeling. So this I've been loving because I have been traveling so much. My skin does just naturally feel dehydrated. It just feels incredibly just sucked of all its moisture. So I've been loving this as like a first step. In fact, I'm gonna put a little bit more on the top of my hands and push into my neck and my chest. Even my neck has felt really dry lately from all the traveling and just being on airplanes and stuff. It just dries you out. It's just hard on your skin. So hydration is done. Now I can move on to my serums. So this one I just started using recently. I have no idea how to pronounce this name. So I'm gonna just take a guess and say it's Odacite, maybe. If I'm wrong, please let me know. If there's a way to mispronounce a fancy name, I will do it. But anyway, this is a brightening vitamin C and E plus hyaluronic acid serum. All those things I love. I always try to, for my daytime skincare routine, I always do a vitamin C in the morning. I just love it. My skin loves it. It's different for everyone. I know that some people don't like it or some people can't handle it. So, you know, use your best judgment when doing your skincare. Everyone's skin's different. My skin just happens to love vitamin C. This one kind of has a strong scent. I don't think it's a scent. Like, I think it's just natural from the ingredients. But it kind of has a, it's like a eucalyptus maybe? What else is in this? I don't know. If you're sensitive to stronger smelling skincare things or skincare serums, you might not like this. I'm just testing it out. Get some more on my neck. Anything I put on my face, I'm gonna bring down to my chest and my neck and also to the top of my hands. This is a big deal for me. I know I've talked about this a lot before. Like, as a makeup artist, my hands are constantly in rubbing alcohol and cleansers and makeup removers and all those things. And I'm constantly washing my hands, obviously. And just, it takes a toll, like, on my hands. It takes a big toll. So I always try to remember to put everything that I put on my face, even if it's expensive products, which they typically are, I will still put it on my hands no matter what. Okay, so skin is getting prepped. And again, I know my skin's really dry when it sucks up the moisturizer and the serums, like, quick. My skin just soaked that up in literally 2 seconds. So I know I'm not in a good spot right now. Another product I want to use and try, I've never tried this. If you have tried this, let me know and tell me how you like it. It's a Sheseido Ultimate Power Infusing Concentrate. I'm going to use this on top of my vitamin C serum. I'll keep you posted too if I like any of these 2 products that I'm using for the first time. You know, sometimes it's just fun to switch it up and try new things, and I receive both from the brands, so I'm, you know, always thankful to receive new products that I can try. So I'll try to keep you guys posted on if I keep them in my skincare routine or not. This one feels incredibly nice. So same thing, I'm gonna pop it on my neck, finish the top of my hands. So one thing, actually before I do anything else, I have got to put lip balm on because my lips are like, I feel like they're like shriveled up into my mouth. They're so dry. This isn't gonna be the most moisturizing lip balm, but however, I love this in the morning before I do my makeup to get my lips kind of like plumper and juicier. It's the Fenty Ice Plumper. So it's basically it's a plumping gloss, but it's cold. It's not like a hot one where it feels like cinnamony and like spicy on your lips. This one feels cold and icy. It's not super strong. It's not like crazy irritating. Like some of them could be really irritating where you're like, you know, dying to get it off your lips. This doesn't feel irritating at all. In fact, I could drink this. It's so refreshing on my lips. I love the way it feels. So lips are gonna get nice and plumped. So one thing I like to do is add a self-tanner to my face. And the reason for that is because I wanna just add the color to my skin, like my face, to even out my whole appearance, right? So I'm always trying to match my face to my body. And that's why I always go for foundations that are a little bit, that might look a little bit deep going on my skin initially, but overall they match my entire body. There's room for error with these, like with any self-tanner products. There's, you know, use with caution because there's a lot of room for error, and I've definitely made so many mistakes while using this, and hopefully I'm not gonna make a mistake today. This is the Natural Glowing Skin self-tan spray from Tropez. It's a bronzing water face mist. So you'd apply it just like you would, you know, a face mist or a setting spray. So shake it, make sure it's definitely well shaken. And I'm gonna try to get a nice even layer throughout. Let that dry down. I felt that all over. The nice thing too is that, you know, whatever kind of falls down on my chest gives like a little extra color there too, just to, you know, give me like a little boost. Okay, so moving on to body while this self-tanner dries down completely. I love this spray. This is like my favorite, one of my favorite drugstore products I think I've ever purchased. This is probably my 3rd bottle I think I've ever bought. You get it from Walmart or CVS, any drugstore, you know, Walgreens. It's Vaseline brand. I don't know if they have it at Target. They might have it at Target too, but it's the spray moisturizer. It's Cocoa Radiant, so it's a cocoa moisturizer, cocoa butter moisturizer, but it's in a spray form. This is like it, man. It's so easy. It's a spray. Spray my arms, rub it in, Takes 2 seconds. You don't even have to like thoroughly rub it in, honestly. Like I've sprayed this all over my body before, gone like this, put my clothes on and gone out the door. And it just gives me like the nicest, silkiest feeling on my skin. And you know, one of the things that I've noticed like in my life that I will neglect the most when I don't have time, or that I'll make excuses to neglect, you know, if I don't have the time or I don't want to make the time for it, is my body. And my arms look so much nicer when they're hydrated and moisturized than they do when they're like dry as a desert and, you know, looking like basically like my skin's like flaking off. So this is just honestly the best $4 you'll ever spend. I think it's like under $5. It has to be under, I think it's like $3.99. I'll make sure I link it so you guys can purchase it or check it out. So the next thing for body, if I'm taking the time to really take care of myself and give myself a little glow up, is putting sunscreen on my body. And I know it sounds bad. I put sunscreen all over my face. I put on my neck, which I'm going to do in a second. But if I'm not taking the time to really take care of myself and give myself a glow up, I forget to do my body, or I just skip it. And normally I'm wearing long sleeves anyway. If I'm at work, I'm always cold. So it's not like I'm like really in the beating sun. But for a glow up, put some body sunscreen on. This one's probably my favorite at the moment. My mother-in-law turned me on to this. It's the Coola Classic Sunscreen Spray in mango or guava mango. This smells like dessert in Hawaii, like a tropical vacation dessert, like sorbet. So I'm gonna shake it. Spray my arms. I really don't rub this in either. I'm gonna get my chest. And it's kind of nice to just rub this on your chest when you don't want to put like a really expensive face sunscreen all over your chest too. I'm not gonna lie, like that's one thing I don't want to overdo on my chest is my nice expensive face sunscreen. So putting something like this whole thing was 25 bucks or under 30. It's just, you know, it's more cost effective. Okay. Body glow up is done. That Saint Tropez self tanning mist is absorbed. So now I'm going to move on to my final step in my face glow up, and that is SPF. So this is my sunscreen. I've been using it for a little bit. They actually just came out with this. This is from Naturium. It's their newest launch. It's the Dew Glow Moisturizer in SPF 50. I had a chance, like this just launched. I had a chance to use this for probably like a month prior to it being released. And I love it. I have one for myself. I have one in my makeup kit. And it's just like incredibly emollient and moisturizing. Like obviously it's a moisturizer, but it has that SPF 50, which is amazing. Like I always try and I strive to have SPF 50 on top of my skin at all times, on top of my face. And by the way, that body sunscreen was SPF 50 too. So this has been amazing. I especially like it for my drier skin clients that I work with. It's been great on their skin. And for me, since I mentioned my skin is really on the dry side right now because of all the traveling, this has felt incredible. So I'm bringing it down my neck. I already have it on my chest, so I'm not gonna put too much more on my chest. I'm gonna put some on the top of my hands. Now let's move on to some quick glow up makeup. So for my quick makeup glow up, I'm gonna use one of my favorite foundations. No surprise, it's the Haus Labs Triclone Skin Tech Foundation. I'm wearing the shade 230 Light Medium Cool. So I'm gonna start with this and apply it with the e.l.f. Complexion Duo brush. I think I've been wearing this foundation for almost 2 months straight. I'm still obsessed with it, and I love how it sits on my skin and how it wears throughout the day. It wears really beautifully throughout the day. It never gets cakey. So just popping this all over. My skin feels so much better with all these products and with the mask. Another thing I do also is I will shave my face, and I'll talk about that later on, like another video, but I love to shave my face with small dermaplaning razors. I've been doing it for years. People either love it or they hate the idea of it. I love the idea of shaving my face, and I love the feeling that I have on my skin afterwards. It just feels like the best exfoliation you could get, right? It's like you're taking that top layer of peach fuzz off your skin and your makeup will just sit so much smoother. So I did that before I started this video. I dermaplaned my face, got all that peach fuzz off. When I'm feeling a little extra tired like I am lately, I'll go for a brightener. This one's one of my favorites. It's old school. It's from MAC. It's their MAC Prep and Prime highlighter in the shade Bright Forecast. So this is also gonna kind of double as a color corrector for me because it has more of a peachy pink tone to it. So I'm going to pop it, and it's very bright as you can see. I'm going to pop it just where I have the most darkness under my eye. And this is going to give me that, like, you know, rejuvenated, I got a lot of sleep consistently, and I've been drinking all my water and taking my vitamins kind of look, which I haven't been doing any of those things. So I'm going to let it dry down just a touch while I skip to another step. So this is a new multi-peptide lash and brow serum from The Ordinary. I think it was under $15. It's incredibly inexpensive. So the reason why I want to try this is because I am a huge fan of Grande Lash. I'm a huge fan of Grande Lash. But I'm not gonna lie, I've been a little spooked lately because I had a couple people, it pops in my brows too. I had a couple people come and message me and tell me that there's a harmful ingredient that's proven to, you know, cause certain things. I'm not gonna get into it because I don't know. I haven't done my research enough to like confidently talk about it. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. So I thought, why not try this and see if I notice a difference? I do think that it's helped my lashes to just be stronger overall. Like they feel a little bit more dense, to be honest. And I've been using it for at least 3 weeks, like very, very consistently. So that's good. I feel like it actually has worked a little bit. I don't think it's like a placebo effect. I really do think I have like slightly stronger lashes because of it. I haven't noticed anything with my brows. I don't think it's made a difference in my brows. But I will say it's still, nothing beats Grande Lash, to be honest. But just do your research, use your own judgment before using it. I'm not saying I'll never go back to Grande Lash. I probably will go back to Grande Lash, but at the moment I'm just trying something that's a little more natural and there's nothing harmful in that. It's just a peptide serum for your lashes. So going to a cream bronzer, I love this one from Fenty. I use it all the time. It's the Matchstick in Mocha. And just to do this quickly, I'm going to actually draw it on my skin, which I never normally do, but the brand reformulated these recently and they made them a lot more creamy. So they go on really creamy. They don't tug at your skin, which is the reason why I wouldn't apply this directly to my skin in the past, because it was just too dry. But since they reformulated it, it's so much creamier and it just blends out really, really easy. So just to give me a little extra warmth to my skin, blending it onto my forehead and a little bit on the highest points of my cheekbone, just quick and easy. And I'm stippling it on with a BK Beauty. This is part of the Angie Hot and Flashy brush set. This is the A507 brush. This brush is amazing. It makes it so easy to not only apply, like let's say cream blush or cream bronzer, but it also blends it out incredibly, incredibly well. So these brushes are just so good. I'm gonna take a little bit more, just bring it down my nose. Let's take a little bit going out towards my temple. Switch it to the other end of that Duo complexion brush from e.l.f. Just gonna give this a rough blend. Blend this out. And now onto my actual concealer. I'm going to use, again, another one of my favorites. I can't stop using this concealer. I love it so much. I think it's just such a great formula. It looks so good under your eyes. I don't know, it's one of my favorites for sure. It's a Huda Beauty Faux Filter Concealer in Vanilla Swirl. And this has lasted me so long. I feel like I use this honestly almost daily and it still has tons. So same areas that I use that MAC highlighter in, I'm going to now use the concealer. And a little bit in the center of my forehead. Cover up that pimple too, which I didn't get enough coverage over it with my foundation. Bring it down my nose, top of my chin, and a little bit under my nose, just to brighten this area. We're going for a glow up, so why not? I'm gonna let this dry down a little bit more, and in the meantime, while that is drying down, I'm going to pop a little bit of brow gel into my brows. I've been loving this from Bae Brow. They recently came out with this. It's their Glam Clear Brow Gel. It's basically like a Stronghold clear brow gel. It has a really nice little brush too, which I like because it gives me a little more control. So I'm going to use the tip of it where it has the most product, push this into my brows. I have a little bit of brow pencil in my brows to start, in case you can't tell, which is pretty much how I always start my tutorials, with a little bit of stuff into my brows. Yeah, I love this stuff. The reason why I really like it too is you probably can't tell on camera, but in person it dries down very matte, which I like. I don't want shiny brows. For me, having a more of a matte dry down with brow products is like such a must. So this is very matte. The hold is great. It's not incredible, but it's very, very good hold. So if you have more stubborn brows than me, you might need to be a little bit stronger. While that's drying down a little bit more, go back to my beauty sponge and start to tap that concealer in. I'm gonna go back to my concealer one more time and just do a little dot on my eyelid and then tap it in using a Huda Beauty concealer brush. Just to brighten my eyelid a little bit more. I feel like my eyelids are another spot where they show how tired I am. So if I'm feeling really tired, my eyelids will look really like red and like a little discolored. So by doing this, it gives me like an instant pick me up for my eyes. Now grabbing one of my favorite powders. I love this powder, I can't stop using it. It's the Givenchy Prisme Libre Loose Powder in number 3. And then switching to another Angie Hot and Flashy brush. This is from BK Beauty. It's the A506 brush. I'm gonna use this to set my concealer on my eyelids, as well as that cream contour that we applied earlier. And I'm gonna blend out my concealer one more time under my eye. And now set my under eye concealer using the same Givenchy powder and one of their little powder puffs. This actually came with the powder as well. And then using a little excess to just bake the side of my nose and then bringing it onto my T-zone. To bump up my brows a little more, now that my brow gel is totally dried down, but this is the Makeup Revolution. It's a brow pen. It's in dark brown and it's very, very pigmented and very, very wet. Just like the Anastasia one. That one is extremely wet, like it's like a liquid liner when you're first applying it. So I'm going to use this in hair-like strokes to just create more brow hair, like the look of more brow hair. Brows are feeling so much better. Talk about glow up. When I don't do my brows and I finally fill them in, like that's a glow up in itself for me. Let's move on to eyeshadow. I have been loving this and I also traveled with this recently. The brand actually sent me a whole bunch of them, like all their different colors. They're the Kaja Bento box, or sorry, Beauty Bento eyeshadows. So you get 3 eyeshadows. They come like a little clicky container. There's a topper, which is really pretty. I wore this on, I wore this for my husband's birthday actually, this shimmery color. It was really, really pretty to go to dinner. And then there was like a deeper matte shade here, a medium tone, and the shimmer on top. So I've been loving this one just all over, just easy all over my eyes. So I think that's a color. So blending this on with a 228 Luxe crease from Zoeva. And actually I'm not gonna blend this all over, I'm gonna blend this into my crease first. And then blend it out towards my temple just to elongate my eye shape, make my eyes look bigger. I'm gonna focus this color in my crease and keep my eyelids pretty light, which will again just give me like more of a well-rested, like open-eyed effect. But these formulas are really nice. They're easy to blend. There's a little bit of fallout when you're first dipping your brush into the pan, which is pretty normal. It's not like horrible, but there's a little bit of kickback. But they're really creamy. They blend super easy. They're not patchy. So I really like this. I really like I like how small and compact they are, first of all. I think it's nice and easy when you're on the go and you don't want to carry a big eyeshadow palette with you. Switching to another Zoeva brush. This is a 234 Luxe Smoky Shader. I'm going to use this brush to shade my bottom lash line using the same Kaja color. Switching over to powder bronzer. I'll be using the Skin Mimetic Micro Suede Bronzer in the shade Aura from Make. This has been really one of my favorites lately. I've been loving this. I've actually been loving this as a crease. I know it's a bronzer obviously, but you know, I love bronzers in the crease and I love wearing them as eyeshadows. And this one's been really, really pretty. Just add it to my crease. So just popping that a little bit over the original shade that we have from Kaja. And I'll switch it to another BK Beauty Angie Hot and Flashy brush. It's the A502 brush. It's like a small blending brush. Same bronzer. I'm gonna buff this on the bottom lash line too, just to connect the two, like connect the top crease to the bottom lash line. I love this brush for blending. Okay, now taking the same bronzer and grabbing a Morphe E3 brush. I'm going to use this bronzer to set my cream contour, or my cream bronzer that I applied earlier for warmth. So I'm going to hit the top of my forehead, like the very, very top, and just blend out the edges. This formula is really nice because it does go on very smooth. Like it's not like a patchy bronzer, and it's just easy to blend. So just adding a little bit more just underneath my cheekbone, right here, and a little hint on the tip of my nose, just a little hint of whatever's left over. So bronzer is complete. Now let's go back to the Caudalie Beauty Bento. I'm going to dip into that darker shade in the palette, and using an M149 brush from Morphe. This is a really, really old brush. I'm just going to dip into that deeper shade and add it to the very outer portion of my top lash line. Just diffuse it along the way. It's just going to add like a really subtle amount of depth to my top lash line. Now I'm going to do something that I normally don't do because I just, again, don't take the time to do it. But when I do it, it's such an instant pick-me-up and just a boost to my eyes, and that's just curling my lashes. And it's so simple, and takes 2 seconds really, but I just never take the time to do it. It makes such a huge difference. So using one of my favorite curlers, this is from Sheseido, it's just a lash curler. I'm going to curl my lashes. Before I go on to mascara, I'm going to use a little bit of black liquid liner, and this is one of those products too where if I feel like I need a glow up and I want to pick me up and I want to feel more like myself and more confident, I hate to say it, with makeup, I will put on a black liquid liner because I always instantly feel just like ready to go. Like I just feel more glam and just more confident with a black liquid liner. So this one's from Huda Beauty. It's their Life Liner. It's a quick and easy liquid liner in Very Vanta. It's black liquid liner. Back to the Caudalie eyeshadows, I'm going to use a little bit of this topper, this shimmery shade, and just with my fingertip, pop it just right in the center of my eyelid, just to give like a little spotlight effect. Now on a mascara, I've been really liking this one from the brand Exa. I've never used this brand before. They actually sent me this mascara and I just decided to try it on a whim. And you know me, like I hate to like use mascaras or try new ones until I'm completely done with other formulas that I have open, but I couldn't resist. So I started using it, traveled with it, really, really like it. I think the biggest thing that I like about it is I like the wand. It's just a really good wand. And I like the formula. It's not super messy. It's easy to apply. It doesn't get like goopy everywhere. It just, I don't know, it's a good straightforward mascara. Now on to blush. I received this one from Fenty Beauty just recently. It's a new launch. Okay, it's called Double Cheeked Up and it's 2 different shades. You get Peony Droppa and Malibu's, like Malibu's. It's cute. The colors are really pretty. So it's like a more of a hot pink and more of like a berry shade, like a raspberry shade. It's really pretty on. This one's my favorite by far. So I'm gonna apply this to my cheeks. And using one of my favorites, it's a Morphe Y9 brush. I'm gonna dip into that cream. And I've mixed the two together too. I've worn both just on their own, but this one is definitely my favorite. So I'm gonna use this to apply my cream blush. Keeping it pretty high up, because to me this is like a great way to give my face a glow up, is by applying my blush higher up. It's like instant transformation for me. I love this blush. Honestly, I've been wearing this one every single day since I got it. Using one of my favorites, this is from Real Techniques. It's a 402 brush. It's like a small powder brush. And the brand Make also sent me their newest powders that they came out with. It's the Diffusion Set Translucent Pressed Powder. This is in the shade Translucent Light Medium. So I'm going to use this in the center of my face. And I'm also going to use it to dust off this baking powder that I had left over from a lot earlier. This powder is super fine milled. It's very like silky on the skin. It doesn't feel like heavy. Reminds me a little bit of the Charlotte Tilbury airbrushed powders. So I'm just using this in my T-zone and on the top of my chin. Now going back to whatever's left over on my blush brush, I'm gonna tap it onto the bridge of my forehead for a little healthy wash of color. Mascara on my bottom lash line. Now for highlighter, I'm going to pull out one of my favorites. It's not new. It's just something I've loved for a while now. It's the Dior Skin Nude Luminizer in the shade 01. It's just like it's a pretty light highlighter. And using a MAC brush, I'm going to highlight top of my cheeks, graze the top of my forehead. When I'm wanting to glow up and I want to feel like really pretty, I will go for it with the highlighter. There's like two things I'll really go for. Lip liner, liquid eyeliner, well actually 3 things. No, 4 things. Lip liner, liquid eyeliner, mascara, and even or I'll put lashes on. I'm not going to do them today. I think it's just too much. And highlighter. Those things will make me feel just extra glowy and pretty. I'm going to switch to a small brush and pop some of this in my tear duct just to brighten it in like a more natural way. I could have put that shimmery one from Kaja there, but I think it'd be too much. Moving on to lips. I'm going to use one of my favorite lip liners. I cannot stop using this one. I feel myself grabbing it daily. I have to stop myself from using it almost daily just so I can use other lip liners. But it's the Makeup Forever Artist Pencil in the shade Anywhere Caffeine. So I'm going to line my lips with this. Now pulling out another one of my favorite lipsticks, which is something I do when I want to glow it up, when I want to feel my best. This is MAC Honey Love. It's just one of my favorites. I can't stop and I won't stop using it. I love this color so much. So popping that on top of the lip liner. This is one of those colors that I gravitate towards like when I want to feel like myself. And like this lipstick really, when I put it on, I feel like me. It feels just very true to like my makeup style and just my style in general. So I feel like very, between this and like black liquid liner, I feel like me when I have those things on. So Honey Love from MAC. To finish up my glow up, I have been obsessed with this lip gloss. I know it sounds really silly, and I actually have never been a big lip gloss girl, like at all, ever. It's taken me all my life to finally get into lip glosses for myself. I love my makeup kit. Like I will lather people in glosses. But for myself, I've never loved it. But when I want to feel like, again, like extra, like when I want that extra glow up moment, I will put lip gloss to top my makeup look personally. Again, it's something I've done for a million clients and it's one of my favorite things to do. But on myself, I've never loved the look or the feeling, but I love this gloss so much. It's from Haus Labs. It's their lip oil in the shade, I always forget, Unhooked. So it's like a pretty light nude lip gloss. So I'll use this to top my Honey Love lipstick from MAC. Final step to set my makeup, I'll be using the Milk Hydro Grip Set and Refresh setting spray. I love this setting spray. I just opened up a new one because I ran out of my old one. And that completes this glow up transformation. So I hope you guys enjoyed going through this glow up routine with me. I know I needed it so bad, especially after all the traveling I've been doing. My skin just needed a little pick me up and I needed that time to just feel better, feel like myself again. So it was so much fun taking you through my authentic journey of what I actually do, like as far as my body care products, my hair care, and of course my skin, and then how I like to do my makeup to feel the most confident. So this is truly how I like to glow up. Let me know in the comments how you glow up and what you choose to do and what are your go-tos. I would love to hear from you guys. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can also find me on Instagram and TikTok. I'm at Makeup by Nikki LaRose and we could talk there. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.